In this video, I'll give you a couple different ways you can get your CSV file you exported from MLS into RStudio. And we'll go ahead and take a look at a couple common errors that you might encounter when doing so, and how you can fix those. And then we'll do some basic data cleaning to get your data ready for use in plots. And finally, we'll do a quick histogram and a quick scatter plot to get you started in using R in your everyday appraisal practice. Let's go ahead and get started. I've already got RStudio open and a blank R script file. We'll go ahead and start with loading some packages. We will need the tidyverse package. Do Control-Enter to load that. And we will use the janitor package. Again, Control-Enter. Now let's go ahead and import an ADF using code. An ADF being the assignment data frame. It's the data frame that we've exported from MLS, and it's in a CSV file. So, and we will assign it as ADF. We will read. We want the read underscore CSV function, and the file is already in the same folder as this document, so we don't need a file path. And Control-Enter, and we can see that the data has been loaded into our environment. We'll take a peek at that, minimize the files there. There's all of our data as it comes straight from MLS. And we can see here that we've got a couple problems with the selling date, pending date, listing date. They were imported as characters. We don't want characters in our date fields. They need to be of the date class so that we can use those in our scatter plots and our histograms and other formulas that we might use. Now, we could use some code to fix that, but it can be a little bit tedious at times. There's a fast way to do it when we're importing. So let's go ahead and take a look at our files tab here. We're going to cheat a little bit and use the wizard here. Wizard opens up, it gives us a preview of all of our data, the selling data. We can select date right here. One thing we want to do is change that to a lowercase y for the 2 character. We can see now shows as date, and it has us in the standard date class format. We'll do the same thing for pending date. Click drop down, select date, change that to Y. Click OK. Listing date, date, Y. Now we have our 3 date fields already. Instead of just clicking import, we can see that the wizard has already given us code preview right here. We're going to import this as ADF2 so that we don't replace our existing ADF, so we can see the changes. If you click tab out of that field, it changes it here to ADF2. We can select that, copy it. I'm going to cancel that, and then we'll simply paste it right in here. That's what the code looks like. We can do Control-Enter, and now we see we have ADF2, and our dates are in the date class format, ready to use in our scatter plots. So this is a really easy way to get some code written for you, get it formatted, because once you start using the same MLS over and over, the export's going to be the same. So you can get this set up instead of having to use other code after you've imported to change it to a date class. We can do it right when we import. Now, there's one other issue that may crop up with some MLSs. I've seen it in a few. So we're going to try to replicate that here. We're going to click on line 4. We're going to hold down Alt Shift and the down arrow. That gives us an exact copy of what was on that line. We're going to import this bad ADF. Control-Enter to run that line. We have our ADF3 here. And it's the same thing as the ADF. Our dates come in characters, but on this one, we have selling price came in as a character class instead of a numeric class. And that is because there was a dollar sign in this, just in this first sale. Sale price of the first sale in the data set had a dollar sign. Now it's a character field, and that will completely mess up our plots. Now there is code. You can go ahead and write some code to fix that. But again, we can do that when we import. So it'll be faster and cleaner. And again, we're going to cheat and use the wizard. We'll have to change these to date classes as well, so that everything will come over clean. Our listing date, we changed that as well. And then our selling price here, we change it to numeric, and you'll see it extract that dollar sign. Now these are all ready to go, and we will import this as ADF4, and here's the code for it. Again, it has written the code for us. We'll cancel that, and we'll simply paste it in here. Control Enter to run it. Here's our ADF4. We see we now have our dates in the date class, and that selling price is now a number class. So we are ready to go with some plots. First, we want to clean some data, because you can still see that these field names are still in the same format as when they came from MLS. There's spaces, there's special characters in there. There's a lot of stuff we don't really like. It'll make writing our code more tedious. So what we want to do is, in this case, we'll do another data frame, number 5, and we're going to simply clean names. We're going to use ADF4 as our base, and we want our case equals upper camel. Enter. We now have our ADF5. You can see it took out all the spaces and special characters. So it's much cleaner to work with. It's in a format that R likes, but it's not quite in the format that I like. So I'm going to rename some fields using ADF5. We will rename some fields and assign it back to ADF6. We're going to use the rename function, and I'd like my dates to all be in date, start with date, prices to start with price, but I also don't want to use that street number name direction for address. If I want to use the address somewhere, I'm just going to hit enter there to give me some space. So I want address to equal street. And nice thing, as soon as you start typing, you get this predictive text. It's matched. I can hit enter, comma. I want city. There it is, comma. We'll do zip. Now I can do down arrow. Okay. Now I want my date sold equals selling date, comma, date penned equals pending date, comma, date list equals listing date, comma, and now I want my price sold equals selling. We'll down arrow to price, comma, and we need a price list equal to our listing down arrow price, comma. And then there's a couple other fields that we can change, like like YB instead of year built, or GLA instead of square footage. So you can go ahead and set those up however you like. And then I would like to mutate a price per square foot. Now the MLS exports that, but that's not always accurate. So I'm just going to go ahead and calculate it here. And that is, and we're going to use our new names, price sold divided by GLA. We'll do Control Enter. We have our ADF6. We have our new names, date sold, date pen, date list, price sold, our YB, GLA, and at the bottom our PPSF, price per square foot. Now we're ready to make some plots. So let's go ahead and do ggplot. We're going to use ADF6, the aesthetics, and this first one we'll do a scatter plot. So date sold, price sold, and we want geom point is for a scatter plot. Go ahead and hit enter, and we've got our scatter plot. Now we might want to add some colors to that. So we say, color equals dark green, size equals 2. And we probably want to add a trend line to that. So we'll do smooth. And we're going to specify the method we want is the linear model. And we'll give that a color as well. We'll do that red. And then we don't need the standard error. So we'll turn that false. There we go. Now how about a histogram? These two plots together are great for exploring your data set. And here we just need price sold and our geom histogram. There's a simple histogram, kind of looks like a blob there. So what we can do is add a color. And color, when you're looking at a box plot or a histogram or bar chart, color is always going to refer to the line that's around those objects in the plot. We want black, and then fill would be the inside color. So we can change that to, we just want a black and white. Do black and white there and hit enter, and there we have a histogram. Great way to explore our data, see where the distribution of sale prices are. And we can always use the back arrows to go back and look at some of those other charts. How quickly and easily that is to import some data and get some fantastic plots all within a matter of minutes.